In this video, you're going to learn how you can automatically route your envelopes to different recipients based on a condition. This is super helpful for workflows where you need to have different approvers to approve a transaction based on something. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to configure the feature called Docusign Conditional Routing, which is not the same as Docusign Conditional Fields. Conditional routing helps you route the envelope to a specific person. Docusign Conditional Fields just help you show or hide certain fields or certain sections of the document based on a condition. If you want to learn how to dynamically show or hide certain elements on your documents, then I recommend you watch my video on Docusign on how to use Docusign Conditional Logic. But in this video, we're going to focus on conditional routing. So let's get into it. So we'll use this petty cash form as the example to show you how the conditional routing works. This form is going to be used by employees, and they had to enter the expense that they incurred so that they can get reimbursed. And based on the type of expense, a different person will need to approve the expense. So if the expense is related to a gift, then the approver is person 1. If it relates to the university, then it's approver 2. Art, it's person 3. And if it's management fee art, then it's also the approver number 1. And so the way this is going to work is that when the employee fills in the form, they will have to choose which department this expense relates to, and then enter some information in here, then enter the amount, and then based on the actual type of expense, it's going to be either approver 1, 2, or 3 who's going to have to approve the transaction. So this is what I'm going to show you how to configure in this video. And if we haven't done before, hi, my name is Sofiane Saudi. I used to be a Docusign implementation consultant working for Docusign themselves back in 2019. And since 2020, I've founded the agency Solution Consulting, which helps organizations implement and integrate Docusign in their workflow. If your organization deals with lots of paperwork, there's a huge opportunity for you to save time and money and headaches for you and your team if you integrate and configure your workflow correctly. For example, you could, at the click of a button, generate this expense report, and having the data in your spreadsheet or CRM automatically merge into your document to create documents without having to copy paste. You could also track the signature status, so you can track all the transactions in your system of records, whether it's a CRM, a HR software, a payroll software. And when your documents have been signed, you can also decide where those documents need to be stored, so you don't have to download them and manually upload them in the folder that you want. And you can even decide how you want the documents to be named. So you can use some of the variable information in the PDF name, so you never have to struggle to find a document ever again or have to rename them manually. And if you're also collecting data in your forms and not just signatures, you can also automatically extract the data entered in the forms by your signers and populate that information in any system, so you never have to copy paste again. So that automates the full life cycle of the document: the creation, sending, tracking, and storing. And you can absolutely do this by yourself with trial and error. But if you don't have the time or the willingness to become Docusign expert like we have for the last 6 years, then you can book a strategy session using the link just down below. During the call, we will map out your workflow and provide you with the best implementation roadmap for your unique business needs. But if you're starting with Docusign, then in this case, I really suggest that you download our Docusign Mastery Cheat Sheet, because it will help you get started with Docusign. But for now, let's go back to the tutorial on how to configure Docusign Conditional Routing. So the very first thing that we want to do is to create a template. And if you haven't created a template in the past, I really recommend you watch my video on how to create Docusign templates. Otherwise, this is going to be a little bit confusing for you. But once you go inside of your Docusign account and then create your template, then obviously you name your template, you upload your document. And the first thing that we want to do is that we want to add our recipients. And so the first recipient in this workflow is going to be the person who is requesting a reimbursement. And so we can call that person the initiator, for example, and we don't need to enter a name and email because that person's name and email will vary, obviously. Now, once you've added your initiator, what we want to do next is to add our conditional routing recipients. And the way you do this is simply by clicking on Add Routing Group. And you want to give a name to this group. So that could be, for example, person 1. In our example, we have multiple people who could be signing the document, but we don't want to add them to the same group because in this example, each person is part of a different group, but we could have multiple people in a routing group. In this example here, I've added 3 different routing groups and I've just called them person 1, person 2, person 3. Once all the approvers have signed the document, we want finance to actually approve the transaction. And then we can also add the initiator as the final recipient to confirm that they have received the reimbursement. Really what we want to happen is that the initiator starts the transaction, they enter the information about their expenses, then the approvers approve the transaction, and then finance approves once all the approvers have approved the expense. And then finally, the initiator signs once they've received the reimbursement in their account. But now let me just show you how to configure the actual rules that are going to decide who gets what document. The first thing that we want to do is that we want to have a field that's going to be the trigger for the routing rule. And so in this example here, I've just created a drop-down menu that the initiator will have to use to determine to which category the expense relates to. So remember, we have those 4 categories here. And so in our drop-down menu, we have those 4 different categories. Once we've built our trigger field, which in my case is a drop-down menu, and I've decided to call that index line 1, you can call it whatever you want. Then you want to click on Open Rules here. And here you can see we've got lots of rules. And so it's essentially an if this, then that statement that you have to build. So I've selected my trigger field, which is here, and then I'm going to click on Add Rule. And so I can say that if index line 1 equals gift, then in this case, I want to route to recipient number 1. Because this is what I need here. And then I can add another rule that says if the index line 1 is university, then I want to route it to person number 2. And if it's art, I want to route it to person number 3. And if it's management fee art, then I want to route it to person number 1. And that's it. Then for each line item, I've also added a text field for the initiator to enter the amount that they want to get reimbursed for, and a formula field that calculates the total amount for those 3 line items. If you haven't watched my video on how to use formula fields, I really recommend you watch it because it's really helpful to calculate dates and amounts and also transform text to do some concatenations, for example. I'm going to click on Save and Close, and I'm going to show you how the employee is actually going to use it. What I recommend using in this case is to create a PowerForm so that the employee can access that form without anyone having to send it to them in the first place. A PowerForm is a self-serve Docusign mechanism that allows a signer to initiate the transaction without having anyone sending them anything in the first place. You could also do it with a web form. And if you don't know the difference between a web form and a PowerForm, I really recommend you watch my video on the difference between those two. But in this case, just to keep things simple, I created a PowerForm. It's faster to create, but you could definitely do this on a web form because obviously it's going to be mobile responsive and much easier to use on a mobile device. So now I've got my PowerForm URL that I've gotten by creating my PowerForm from my template. And this is what the employee will actually see. And so let me just zoom in a little bit. So what they have to do here is just to enter their name. And again, in this example, we want the employee to sign also once they've received the cash. This is why the name and email is required twice in our form. So then the employee will just click on Begin Signing. So let's say that we had 3 different types of expenses. So option 1, we're going to say gifts. And then let's just say that was $100. That should be approved by person 1. Person 1 will have to sign here. And we also had some university gifts, and that was $50. And then there were also some management art fees, let's just say $300. So that's a total of $450. Now the initiator is just going to click on sign, and that's it. And so I've just received 2 emails, one addressed to person 1, as you can see here, and one addressed to person 2. So those emails are sent at the same time because we're not waiting for approver 1 to approve the transaction before person 2 can approve the transaction. So person 1 is requested to sign, which is exactly what we want. So here we can check that our conditional recipients were created correctly. So we have the initiator, that's me in this case, then we have person 1, and then we have person 2, which is exactly what we want because we've added some items for gifts, for university, and for management fees. And as you can see, person 1 isn't added twice in the workflow, they just added once. And so now I've just signed for person 1. Let's sign as person 2. And so person 2 is now signing, and I'll click on finish. Now the next person in the workflow should be finance. So now I should get an email for finance, and here it is. So now finance is approving the transaction, and you can create very complex things. You could say, well, if the amount is greater than X, then there should be another level of approval. You can really make this super complex. And so this is why it's really great, because you can automate fully the workflow. And then finally, the last person who's going to get the envelope to sign is going to be myself, just confirming that I've received the money back. Now, if you want to automate things further, you could create an automation that will automatically store this document inside of a SharePoint list, or maybe inside of a Dropbox or Google Drive folder, so that you don't have to do it manually. And you could also automatically extract the information entered by the initiator inside of a system of record or in a spreadsheet, so you don't have to do any copy paste. And so I really recommend you watch my video on how to use Docusign agreement rules if you want to learn how to configure this yourself, or you could simply create a custom integration that's going to do anything that you want. So if you want the PDF to go in a specific system, or if you want this data to go inside of your accounting software, you could also do that using a custom integration. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can use Docusign formulas to calculate dates and amounts and do some transformations with text. I really recommend you watch that video next. And until then, happy signing. Ciao.